Action Show. The Action Show.
Welcome to The Action Shelf. The podcast celebrates the glory of B-action movies. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Michael Listman.
Oh, Listman, Spooktober rolls along here. That's right. Things are spooky, scary here on the podcast. That's right. As we do every October, we're taking a month to look at B horror films. And, that kind of have an action edge. This one has a certain type of action, is what I would say.
Yes, it's mostly slapping women.
We're watching, it's a brand new movie, Listman. Every once in a while we get to watch something from, 2022's Exorcist Vengeance. Yes. Yeah. And as always in Spooktober, we have a guest with us, the return of Mr. Jerry Chrisman.
Hello. Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Oh, yes. Jerry,
Thanks for continuing to agree to come on the podcast. It's very, very
Jerry,
nice.
You've had a real kind of...
I texted John last night when I was watching the movie. I was like, John, this movie, just dear God.
You've had a real roller coaster ride on the episodes you've been on, because you did see probably objectively the worst thing we've ever watched, which is Robo Vampire.
Yes.
In as much as it's not even really a movie, so...
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, the other two you've done are
something.
The other two you've done are at least narratives in some sense. But Split Second, I think, was pretty fun. The Rutger Hauer movie, and now Exorcist Vengeance. This is the first time we've done a Robert Bronzi movie without our good pal Brendan Jones. Although, stay tuned, folks. He will be talking about Bronzi come end of the year, but.
And this is also the first Bronzi movie we've seen that's not been written and directed by Rene Perez, which was interesting.
Indeed, yeah. This is normally that's the guy who discovered him, started putting him in movies. But they seem to have gone their separate ways, at least to some extent, because Bronzi has made a number of movies now without Perez, which is just insane to me, because the idea that other people are now using Bronzi is so interesting. But I think what's interesting about this movie, specifically Exorcist Vengeance, is what we saw with the Rene Perez movies was it was a lot about using Bronzi in vague Bronson-esque movies, right? He put him in Once Upon a Time in Deadwood, which is kind of like Once Upon a Time in the West. We watched Death Kiss, which is obviously very Death Wish. Now this is a filmmaker going, all right, he still looks like Bronson, but let's start putting him in other genres that Bronson never did. What if Bronson made a fucking exorcism movie? Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's crazy to me to see him in this context.
And this is a whole subgenre of horror films. The Exorcist style films.
It was one of the reasons why I put this on the calendar, was not only is it Bronzi, but it is Bronzi in, yet we love subgenres on this show, and we haven't dabbled into this, and I think this is as close as the exorcism movies aren't normally known for colliding with action films, but
not really. And this movie proves why, I think, because there was that edge to it. Like, for some reason, he had a revolver, but he didn't really have any reason to use it.
No, because that's insane. I mean, the second I saw the photo from this of Bronzi dressed as a priest holding a gun, I'm like, we have to do this, because there's even a line that somebody has in the movie where they're like, I can't imagine these bullets are going to have much effect against the devil. And it is, right. And so it makes you go, why does he have a gun at all?
So would this subgenre be exorcism movies with lead actors who just woke up?
The guy is the guy is eternally having just woke up is exactly right. I think in terms
He always
of
he looks sleepy, and he has one facial expression the entire movie. One.
Yeah.
And I don't think he has Botox.
and
so.
it's pretty monotone with the delivery then too. I do still go with the theory posited by Brendan Jones on this show that he is a Native American wood carving come to life.
Yes. We've seen no evidence otherwise. So,
yeah, we'll see.
We
But
just have to assume it's true.
I will say it's better than a Perez movie. These directors are slightly better, not much.
I guess.
But,
yeah.
But it's the same performance from Bronzi, is what I was gonna say.
Oh yes, definitely.
It's like 20 plus years ago, I saw a documentary called "Advertising and the End of the World," which is a great documentary, and it predicted so much of what's happening today. It's eerie how much it did. But one of the segments was talking about media and what the easiest thing to export and sell worldwide is violence and horror. Violence and horror.
Yep.
And so, as much as we laugh at this very laugh-worthy movie, is that it's probably making money, and there's a huge market, for this out there, which is baffling. But it's because of that, because it's easy. It's like horror and violence is unfortunately the easiest to understand.
Well, it's one
and
of the reasons
that is the basis of like the movies that we watch for this podcast.
That was just what I was going to say.
It explains that whole industry.
Action, and horror are the two that travel. Comedy never travels well, for the most part.
No, comedy's really hard. Comedy is very difficult. I mean, obviously this wasn't good, but it's easier to make an okay action movie than an okay comedy.
Well,
movie.
and also it doesn't require. It's so much a comedy comes in nuance and cultural things, right? So the comedy just doesn't travel well because once you put it into another language or subtitle it, you're losing a lot. In horror, everybody can understand monster, scary, or guys with guns blowing stuff up, right? It's why things like The Fast and the Furious and Mission Impossible make so much money because those are universal in their appeal. So this comes to us from a directing duo. Which
the Coen brothers.
I believe so. Yeah.
This
Joel
is
and Ethan.
Joel and Ethan Coen. No, this is Scott Jeffrey and Rebecca Matthews. And listen, we're gonna don't forget about them too soon because they also directed the Bronzi Christmas movie we'll be watching. So
I'm looking at their filmography right now, and I'm seeing a lot of future episodes here.
Oh God, yeah. Well, that is kind of the thing. I think we found for sure that if you make a few of these, you end up making a ton of these. It does seem it baffles and infuriates me, Lisman, as people, you and I trying to make films. The idea that these people can just keep getting money for this schlock.
Isn't that amazing? And whenever you see something really bad, this is what goes through my head. It's like, okay, someone thought of this. Someone wrote it, someone pitched it, someone financed them, they had meetings about this, they had on-set drama, they had technical, all this stuff happened for something that's just virtually unwatchable.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm like you, it's like, where did they get the money?
Yeah, because this isn't, this movie is cheap, but it's still like, I don't know if I have a budget on this, let me see, but I mean, it's definitely cheap, but it's probably more money than we could ever comprehend having for a project.
I don't know. Looking at this movie, I
don't have a budget.
I think based on the resources, John, that you and I have at this point, I think we could make a movie about because this movie's cheap. The only effect they have, there is one floating body effect that they do in the movie very terribly.
Pretty shoddy, yeah.
Yes, but other than that, all they have is blood coming out of people's mouths.
We've been doing that forever.
However, the cinematography for the most part is actually pretty good. Except now the special effects, the CGI is not good, but the framing of the shots, the lighting, and the post production is actually pretty good. That's the part that vexes me.
Yeah,
whoever was the cinematographer knew what they were doing.
This is something we've talked about too, though. Is also the the barrier to get quality cameras is so low these days. The cost of them have come down that you can make something with a little bit of effort, and you have somebody with any kind of eye, you can make something look halfway decent for pretty cheap these
even
days.
without extensive or proper lighting equipment.
Well, yeah,
lighting.
As cameras evolve, the better they get in the low lighting stuff, which is kind of also speaks to what we're talking about, which is the barrier to entry is so low then that kind of any idiot can make a movie look halfway decent. What happens then is what's the case in this movie, which is, okay, it looks okay, so now how's the acting, how's the writing? Terrible. I mean, it is.
That's not where the money went.
It is across the board bad in this thing.
Speaking
Is
of
anyone
lighting,
good?
When I was in film school, and John and I went to the same film school, and I remember we were doing this project, and we were assigned this student, and she was in charge of lighting, and so we were filming at my house, and she called me for some reason. I was in charge. I guess I was a producer then too. I was in charge of actually getting the lights, but she sent me a list of what she needed. And when I tallied it up, she was asking for like 30,000 watts of lighting.
Oh,
and I'm like, my house can only handle maybe 2,000 watts max. I'm like, are we renting the generator truck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Needless to say, we didn't rent 30,000 watts of lighting.
Well, that's good.
No, that's a lot.
That ends in a house fire. So,
it does, and it's pre-LED, so the set would be 120 degrees.
Oh, we've been on those sets, Listman.
We have. We have. That's true.
So, as far as the... go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, so, I mean, yeah, that is the thing now, and with the LED lights, the lights are cheaper, too, and easier to use, so... You know, like I said, yeah, this movie does look okay. It's just, it suffers as soon as anyone starts talking. Because what I was going to say is, Listman, is anyone good in this movie? Is there anyone? I mean, there are. I would
say there's one person who's pretty good.
Head of craft services.
Exactly.
Delicious sandwiches.
I hear the sandwiches were to die for.
Hungarian sandwiches.
Exactly.
Is that?
I can't name one Hungarian dish. So, listeners out there, please email us. Really good
Hungarian you're Hungarian. I'll try them. Yeah, that sounds good.
Absolutely.
I'm ignorant. I want to learn.
Listen, Stephen Burkoff, I think, is the older priest.
Yeah, Stephen,
and he was okay.
He's the ringer in this thing, right? He's a real deal actor. Stephen Burkoff is a longtime character actor. I mean, he was a Bond villain, for God's sakes. He's Victor Maitland, the bad guy from Beverly Hills Cop. You know, he's in Clockwork Orange. And he's now in the place, like a lot of people, as we see on this show, who is old and just going, yeah, you need me for a couple days on this thing, and I'll probably get paid more than anyone else. Yeah, sure. I mean, because I think what he worked, I bet he shot all his scenes in a day, easily.
Yes,
easily in a day,
because they're almost all in one location. So that's a good indication.
He was another actor that I think they gently woke up to be in the
movie.
Yeah,
he's
time for your scene.
He's I mean, the man's in his 80s now. You know, he's just like sure, whatever. And he's got what 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got like 7 movies in post-production right now. I think he literally I think he just does this work a day.
Hey man, it's a little renaissance for him. What does he care? He's already proved himself.
Yeah, exactly. So he's just now I have to see Stephen Burkoff's Telltale Heart. It has his name in it. He wrote it too. He adapted Edgar Allan Poe's story. Oh, that sounds terrible. That has to be awful. I just like the idea of finally Stephen Burkoff's Telltale Heart. And he does a lot of TV guest appearances and stuff. So yeah, he's working, and I agree. He has, because he's a real actor who's played a lot of parts. He has at least some weight to him, some emotion or gravitas of some sort, right?
Even if he's phoning it in here, which I think he is, he still has sort of the natural, I think, charisma that a well-used actor.
Yeah,
would have,
you can still see what's given him a decades-long career, right? Like there is something compelling about him, as opposed to God. Everybody. I mean, this might be the biggest collection of not even bad performances, but just such dull performances. It
was pretty sleep-inducing.
Exorcism movies I think of as being very high energy, right? Very people screaming. Not really. It's amazing. Even the possessed people are pretty low key in this movie.
And nothing is really portrayed as horrific because everybody is just kind of staring silently at the horror happening in this movie.
No, they just kind of stand around, and then their post reactions too. It's like I was thinking to myself, shouldn't someone call the police? Maybe.
Oh, that comes up a couple times.
As soon as somebody's murdered, the police should have been called. Like,
I love that they go. Oh, we gotta when the grandson is murdered. And they're talking about, like, we need to call the police. And Bronzi's just like, no cops. And they're just like, okay.
With no reason.
My congregation talked to the police. We have an understanding.
Now
like, it's so flimsy.
Jerry, for Bronzi episodes, we all know Robert Bronzi has these really kind of Hungarian sort of accent, but we prefer to reimagine him sounding like Charles Bronson, so we always kind of just give him the Charles Bronson sort of voice because he should be dubbed like this.
You see that face.
Bronson's Greek, right?
No, I think he's like Polish. His name, because I believe his real name was Charles Buczynski.
Robert here is Robert Kovacs.
Robert Kovacs is his real name, and he is Hungarian. If you couldn't tell, because I will say there were multiple times in this movie. Some of it is his accent, some of it is the sound mix, where I could not understand what the fuck he was saying.
And it was low too. Like a lot of time, it was like he's behind something. You can't tell.
And whatever
this movie might have the worst sound mixing in a movie I've ever seen.
The other thing is the filters on the demonic voices unintelligible.
Yes,
and I at a certain point went, it just doesn't matter what they're saying, does it? Like,
and also like in the music that whoever scored the movie was like, obviously no one was giving him feedback because it was so overwrought.
Yeah.
He was like having the composer's having a great time. Like, wow.
Mike Ellaway is the composer on this thing. He does not have many credits, but.
Did he do the sound mixing as well? Because he really his music was like really toning out, it was so loud you couldn't hear the dialogue. I'm wondering if he's just like, this dialogue's not very good. We'll just turn up the music a little bit.
Here's a good indication, listener. There is no credited sound mixer on this movie. There's a sound recordist, but that's not the same thing.
In fairness, they edited this in their living room. Come on.
Well, I mean,
yes.
If you look, there's so few people credited on the crew. This is maybe the shortest crew list I've ever seen. They have one visual effects guy. That makes sense. One makeup person. By the way, makeup department head doesn't really matter if you list no one else in the makeup department.
That's like on business cards, owner, president, CEO.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane. They've got 2 editors. Come on, man. 2 camera operators. It's really nothing on this movie.
Yeah.
Jesus. And I noticed that because the movie I usually count on most movies to have about 5 to 6 minutes of credits at least. This thing has like 2. I was watching the thing I'm going like, man, this thing is going to have to end right now.
It's old school. It was like in the old movies when it just had 10 seconds of post credits, screen.
I couldn't believe that. And then, aside from Bronzi, who we know, and Burkoff, I've never seen a single one of these people in anything ever.
No.
Let me read about Bronzi. Let me read a little bit about his bio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Hungarian-born performer Robert Bronzi is world-traveled actor, Is world traveled, not is a world traveled. Is world traveled actor.
Did he dictate
and professional...
this? Like, Robert Bronzi is world traveled actor.
Exactly. Actor and professional horseman with a love for the Wild West and classic American film.
Yeah.
Bronzi has worked as a carpenter, big C, horse trainer, capital H, musician, capital M, and former military service member, all capitalized. Military.
We don't talk about what happened there, though.
He trained as an actor at the Maria Mazy Theater School, Budapest.
That's the thing that we were amazed. We did see that on one of the movies we talked about. We were always amazed that this guy has acting training because it doesn't show at all.
He was a stuntman, an acrobat, and a judo player.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
A judo player. Yeah. Interesting.
I've played some judo in my time.
He speaks multiple languages, including,
not well.
I would say he noodles in multiple languages, including English, Spanish, and Hungarian. Well, that's good. And then it goes on to list all his very accomplished filmography.
Yeah, good Lord.
But,
yeah.
Okay, I have a question. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, no, I was just going to say, the thing we did know about him is he is kind of a journeyman who has bounced around doing a lot of stuff before he's found his weird late-in-life career in shitty straight-to-video action movies.
Mm-hmm. All right, I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
At what point, when you started the movie, at what point did you know you were in trouble? I'll start.
Okay.
When I realized that I was in a lot of trouble watching this movie was in the first few seconds when it's this moving shot on the ground and they show a pool of blood. Okay, blood is not blood is not like tomato soup looking. No. It's not sriracha red. Blood is very dark. And this looks like they got some like a cream tomato sauce.
Yes. We've come across that before.
Oh, we're screwed.
That is, I agree, Jerry. That is a sure sign of low quality in these movies when blood is vivid red like that. We know from Listman, we made a lot of bloody movies back in our teenage years, and we were very cognizant of that. Because the key we put red food dye, but we put a little bit of blue food dye in it too.
Yeah, to darken it up. Yeah,
to make it that crimson.
It is kind of hard. It is hard to. It is hard to get blood to look right on film. However.
Yeah, I think we did a better job than this movie, though. Honestly,
I think no doubt.
I think if you go back and look at the movies we made in high school, the blood is better than it is in this movie.
We made a couple of batches, practice runs, just to see how it would come out. They very clearly put something together maybe 5 minutes before shooting the scene.
Well, based on the credits here, there's no one on makeup or anything, or just that one person. So, yeah,
exactly.
I imagine the composer made the blood. So,
well, I like the composer has about 8 credits, and they start in 2021. So I think this person is.
Boy.
Yeah, and they look like all about this kind of quality of movie. So, let's dive into the movie itself. As we said, we talk about. This doesn't really begin like an exorcism movie. It begins like a cop movie or something like that, with Bronzi holding this girl as she's bleeding out from a gunshot wound.
Did I miss where this came back to be important in the plot of the rest of the movie? Did I miss that part? Okay. Because I
don't think it
was
ever
really
does,
trying to figure out where.
It's just
why
I think this is meant to be sort of the James Bond, like this is the end of his last case. We're coming in. We're establishing him as a rogue. I love the idea of a renegade priest who plays by his own set of rules. Because he's now chasing a guy on foot with a handgun.
Well, chasing.
You're a loose cannon, Bronzi.
That's kind of the scene with Burkoff when he first shows up. He's like, "Have you ever thought about just doing things like other priests? I play by my own set of rules."
I wouldn't call it a chase. I would call it more like a light trot.
Yeah, it's not. Nobody's moving too fast in this thing.
And I love it. So he decides to shoot. The guy's on the ground. Yeah. He's got him. He decides to shoot him. And he asks him, "Do you repent?"
Yeah. He shoots him in
the
leg.
Asking yourself?
He doesn't kill him. But this is there are only I only clocked 2 one-liners from him. There's not much in the movie, but this is the one I think that is the big one, which is when the guy sees him pull out the gun, he goes, "Jesus Christ!" And Bronzi says, "No, but he sent me."
So stupid.
Probably 30 takes of it.
I can't remember which Death Wish it is that has a much better version of that when he says, "Do you believe in Jesus, punk?" And the guy goes, "Yes, I do, sir." He goes, "Good. You'll be seeing him real soon." Now that's a much better one, and I think that's Death Wish 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But I did think of that one. But it is like it bums me out the rest of the movie isn't like this, because I was totally on board for Vigilante Priest.
Oh yeah,
right.
Okay, and there's the part I don't understand is, and I can also imagine him doing those lines. It's like, Jesus Christ, no, line.
Wait.
Let's go from the top.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, so okay, so the police come, and then did I see this right? Because things are already starting to be a haze for me.
Yeah.
The and like the cops, he had the gun out, and the cops grabbed him, right?
Yeah, the
Did
cops.
The cops grab?
So.
They arrest the guy, and I think they're like, "Get that gun out of here!" And they grab at least the gun away from him, right?
Yeah, and then in the next scene, he's not in jail. So
that was strange.
I don't know. Is the idea the church somehow like talked them out of pressing charges? Or
I think maybe that was hinted at.
Because even if someone's like committed a crime, I don't think you can just go and chase them down and shoot them, and the cops will be like, "Yeah, whatever, man."
I think that speaks to a corruption in the police force if they're just letting priests get off with committing attempted murder.
Catholic Church calling the police station.
Well, because
this is the Catholic Church. Listen. You got one of our one of our heavy hitters.
Yeah, he only shoots.
Maybe you could do us a solid and just release him.
He only shoots.
Jesus would really appreciate it.
He only shoots him in the leg, but it seems like had the cops not shown up, he was going to kill him, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Like
yeah.
Yes, Jesus told me to put a bullet in your skull.
Well, blessed are the gun toters. It's
I guess. Yeah, that's what they say. So then we go to where is this? Is this supposed to be England? Because they're all British, right? Okay,
one of the I don't know who she is. One of them, I think she's American. She barely tries to British accent.
The two. There's two of them. The main girl and the son or whatever are American because half the family moved to America and then the other half stayed in England. I think is what it is.
Translation, that's all the actors they could find, so they had to write the story around it.
Exactly.
Well, I will
they
say
can work off the card and
I'm looking
whatever
at,
country they're in.
I'm looking at
exactly.
I'm looking at these actors. None of them have very long IMDb resumes. Like, these are all pretty...
Really?
Yeah, and there's the thing where you're going like, none of these people are really real actors. I don't mean to say that, but I also do mean to say that. So, yeah, it's... actually,
listen, George Clooney started in a movie about a bear, like some kind of rogue bear. I think.
we actually Grizzly
Jerry,
2, The Revenge, I believe.
Jerry, we actually did an episode about that movie, so
yes,
and it didn't hurt his career. So who knows? We might be seeing these people.
That is a weird movie. That's him and Laura Dern and Charlie Sheen are also in that too.
All in the same scene.
Because Grizzly 1, we didn't resolve the story arc.
So many unanswered questions. The person who does actually have kind of a real acting career, and I think this makes sense because she has the most to do, is the granddaughter character who sort of becomes the second lead of the movie.
Yes.
She actually is in a lot of stuff. Now, not like big stuff, but she works a lot. That does make sense to me just in terms of the amount of stuff they give her. Not that I think she's particularly good in this, but they do seem to give her a lot of the movie because I guess she's probably the only other like real working actor of the group.
Right. They needed one of their actors to be able to cry on command, and she was the only one who could do it, so they gave her the part.
Yeah.
Think about something sad. Childhood.
Oh my god! I mean, okay. So Nicole Nobby, the actress who plays Rose, who ends up being spoiler the Satanist of the group.
Is it a spoiler, John?
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, the dark-haired girl who's been like kind of sexy and evil the whole time,
and who wears all black.
Yeah, I was like, movie, come on, man, that's got to be the red herring, because I'm going, there's no way she's the one. Oh, she is. Okay, never mind.
I had the exact same thought process, because I don't know why I gave this movie any amount of credit of like, well, they wouldn't be that obvious, right?
Well,
they have to be trying to fake me out.
Well, I still thought that was
like Don Johnson, from
there
Miami
you go.
Vice.
Yes,
all day glow,
yes.
all day glow, and white jackets, and yeah. No, but I was just looking. Okay, I just want to just the few film credits she had. Just listen to these titles, right? So we have Exorcist Vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Then we also have The Leprechaun's Game, Medusa, Bats, Cannibal Troll, Dinosaur Hotel, Cannibal Lake, and then something called Hatched. And so I'm just saying,
is that a hotel for dinosaurs? Like they cater to brontosaurus?
I don't know, but listen, I think we need to watch Dinosaur Hotel. Obviously,
very high ceilings, so the dinosaurs.
Yeah, Maggie and I were looking at. She's both Dinosaur Hotel and Hatched. Both came out in the same year,
and is
the same year that this movie came out.
And they have basically the same poster, which is just like a T-Rex roaring and fire. I mean, they're both dinosaur movies.
Yes.
And they're both, I believe they're both directed by the same people who directed this.
Oh. I was just about to say yes.
Oh, no, sorry. They only directed Hatched. Dinosaur Hotel is somebody else. Is something else.
Okay, come with me. I'm going to take you on a journey. Imagine a hotel.
For dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Right? High concept.
Cannibal Lake looks pretty silly too, and I always feel so bad because, like, I'm looking at her biography here, and they talk about, she studied dance and theater and is part of the Nottingham Playhouse, and you're like, yeah. It makes me sad because I don't know that she's the most talented, but still, like, the idea of these people who get into theater and they're so serious about it, then they end up in shit like this and Dinosaur Hotel. And I get you got to work, but that's got to be depressing, right? It's like, I want to be an actor. Nobody wants to be an actor to be an Exorcist Vengeance. That's, I would kill, but I don't really take myself that seriously as an actor. Like my acting career, I would just love to have the story. I'm kind of with Patton Oswalt who talk about I take movies for the stories. Like, there'll be stories from that set. That's for sure.
I would actually legitimately love to be in a Bronzi film to say that I was in. Like, I would just want to strike up a conversation with the dude because I'm very curious about him.
Listen, guys, you got to do Dinosaur Hotel. Listen to this. Sienna is desperate to win a large cash prize in a secret underground game show. However, dinosaurs begin to hunt her down for the entertainment of the rich and wealthy.
Oh my god. We did already do a dinosaur reality show movie, which was crazy, called the Jurassic Games.
Is that a subgenre?
I
guess so. Yeah.
I didn't realize this until now because we did a movie called the Jurassic Games, which was Hunger Games with dinosaurs.
Which is a very similar plot. Yeah,
it's pretty dumb.
I bet you the dinosaurs are the best actors in the film.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
They're really committed to. You really believe they're committed to their roles.
Yeah, I really bought that T-Rex as a T-Rex. We go to England now, where this maid/caretaker is coming to this old woman's house, and she's putting groceries away when the lights start flickering, and this old lady's possessed.
Just like possessed. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Immediately.
She's like sitting there at her writing desk in a country home, and then, at least this is how it seemed to me, she's just writing, and all of a sudden she's possessed, right?
Yeah, this is one where we maybe have to backtrack, or we have to skip forward a little bit to get into. So the idea is that the niece is in league with Satan. Mm-hmm. Of course. And
very common alliance.
So I guess that, but Satan's whole deal is that he wants to lure Bronzi.
Yes, tell me about Satan, John. I want to learn more about this Satan guy.
What Rose, the Satanist girl, says is she struck up a deal where her side of it was he was going to possess her family to draw Bronzi here because Bronzi is the only person who's seen the face of Satan.
Yes.
Which is, and also when you see what the face of Satan looks like in this movie, I literally went, "That's Satan." It's the weirdest choice.
Work done.
Well, and that's a weird thing too. It is specifically Satan because here's the thing about the exorcism subgenre. All right, there are a couple of movies that are well thought of, but it's kind of similar to the shark genre where there's kind of just the one good exorcism movie. Like they kind of nailed it out the gate. Like Exorcist is pretty perfect, and basically everything is just a retread of it. Right? Like even the Exorcist sequels are weak because they just you can't match. It's sort of like we did it, and I look at Exorcist like I look at Jaws, where it's like the first movie really kind of does everything you want to do with that genre. But the thing I was going to say in that is that, of course, is for those who remember, that is a demon named Pazuzu, not Satan himself.
Satan.
Like,
is it Mr.? Does it go? Is it Mr. Satan?
Yeah.
Is it?
There's something.
Is it okay to call him S? I don't know.
This is the stupid thing I'm thinking. Watch this movie, going like, doesn't Satan have more to like other better things to do to occupy his time than worry about Robert Bronzi? And also why wasn't
Bronzi seeing Satan the first scene in the movie? Why wasn't that encounter how the movie started, as opposed to a random person getting shot by Bronzi? It didn't make any sense.
I laughed out loud when it cuts to the young Bronzi, and it's just a different guy with the same mustache.
Yeah,
that's how you know. Man. That was so fucking funny. It's a young guy, and they're just like, "Hold on, we got to do that 2-part little mustache."
That's the part I would want if I was in this movie.
Young Bronzi.
Yeah,
I don't even.
Honestly,
no lines.
The mustache was the best actor in the whole movie.
Well,
I think so. Yeah.
Once again, he's just stealing Bronson's mustache, So it's like that was Bronson's signature. It is so interesting too. Like we talk about, the big thing is this guy, and he does look spookily like Charles Bronson. But
he does.
But he has none of the charisma or acting ability of Charles Bronson. So it kind of doesn't... I don't understand. The idea when, people leaving like positive reviews going, "Yeah, man, it's like Bronson's back." It's like, it's really not at all. Yeah. Aside from pictures, because that's the whole reason we started doing these movies, is we just saw pictures of this guy and we're like, wow, that's weird, man.
Yeah,
I mean, in that sense, the marketing worked, right?
Yeah,
because we saw the pictures and we watched the movies.
We watched these movies. Yeah, that's true.
The marketing did work. But I mean, he is like Charles Bronson. If Charles Bronson was eagerly awaiting the early bird special at 4:00,
and sounded
and
like
also
Dracula.
The dye job is terrible. Like, it's so obvious that he doesn't have black hair.
No, I mean, he kind of, the guy obviously already looked like Bronson, but then they did have to work on the hair and the mustache to really make it the iconic Bronson. Because the other thing that's weird about it is he looks like Bronson, who was a movie star in the 70s, which means the hair and mustache are very of that era, which gives him this weird... Like the article,
timeless.
Yeah, you sent me an article, Jerry, about the history of Bronzi and his biography, and in it they talk about he looks like a 70s actor starring in westerns and stuff, and he does.
Saying to John is that he needs maybe some shaping, some layers in his hair.
Well, it just seems like, I mean, but then the downside is he doesn't look like Bronson because we don't have a context for what 2020 Bronson would look like. So. There's sort of there's a weird disconnect here, and I just love the idea that he's sticking with it even as he's moving past this. He just knows, I have to look like Bronson. That's my whole thing. I changed my name to be kind of like Bronson.
Well, in fairness, I mean, his actual hair is kind of like Picard, Patrick Stewart. So,
oh really?
No, I just made that up, but I imagine.
Okay.
They lower that onto his head like Vader in Empire, or just
like Vader's helmet. Yeah. Because I kind of think it's a wig. There's part of me that thinks he's wearing a wig.
I mean, it's fake in some extent, right? Whether it's the coloring of the wig or some combination of a toupee or something, it doesn't look like anyone's hair.
Yeah. Yes.
So this woman is possessed. She dies but passes the evil, which in this case is just a black vapor or something that spits out of her mouth into the other woman.
Did they steal that from Supernatural, or is that a pre-existing thing? Because I remember seeing an episode of Supernatural where that exact thing happens.
I think that's fairly common, like demonic possession imagery from stuff I've seen. I haven't seen a lot of Exorcist movies, so I don't have a lot of context.
Have you seen The Exorcist?
I have not seen the original Exorcist.
Oh, well, if you've seen one Exorcist movie, you've got it.
Yeah, you've seen that movie.
Watch that movie is really the one worth checking out, though. It's actually a good movie, and aside from it being creepy or whatever, it's like it's actually a good movie. I think that's the thing. A lot of them miss is like they don't take the time to work on the character side of it that makes that movie so good. They just focus on. You would think from the way pop culture talks about that movie that it is 2 hours of people in a room with a possessed person, but there's much more complexity going on in that. It's a great movie. But yeah, most of the other stuff is crap. I do recommend, and I may have mentioned it on here before, the TV show Evil, which is a Paramount Plus show. I fucking love, and that is a show that's very kind of X-Files-y, but specifically focused on like demonic possession and stuff. But with the vibe of the X-Files. So I really like that show a lot. And that's a priest.
Because Mike Coulter's in that, right?
Mike Coulter is the priest in that, yeah. And it's him and a psychologist. So you have these two people. And the show really goes to like, well, is this possession or is it something else? And it's complex. And once again, actually deals with issues of faith and stuff like that. Because this movie, I mean, the guy who made me laugh so much is the son. The son of the woman at the beginning, because he just keeps going, with demon possession. It's like, dude, I don't believe in any of this shit personally, but if I saw somebody floating above the bed, I'm going to start going, all right, maybe we do need to exercise.
Yeah,
them.
I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm out.
Yeah, because it's like, I agree, it's horse shit, but you're literally seeing it. Like, he goes so long.
He like pulls his gun. Doesn't he? He pulls his gun on
on the floating. Yes.
Yeah. I love that. My other favorite point is there's the scene where the possessed woman starts choking the son, and Bronzi shoots the gun next to it. I love the idea of startling a demon. Number one. But
it does.
Yeah. But then what the guy is mad about is you shot a gun in my house. I'm like, dude, that's the problem here? Oh my god, that guy's whole character. I don't even blame the actor. The way that guy's written is so stupid.
It's nonsensical.
Right. I must admit I'm having trouble remembering the sequences of deaths.
Yeah.
But I think it's after the first death, and I think the police actually do come to the house, right? And
no, I don't think any cops actually come to the house. There is a scene where they talk to the cops on the phone.
Well, there was a cop there, and what's funny about it is, first off,
no, the cop comes when the old woman dies.
Yeah, was the first one. So it's just
before the murders. They just think she died of natural causes.
The woman, the police woman,
hilarious.
She's first off, she has like an American police badge.
Oh, and it's such a like Party City costume cop badge.
Inexplicably, I don't even know what she was, I guess, offering empathy. But this is the part that gets me. She's very busty, and they unbutton her shirt all the way down.
No, she's
all the way down.
She's a cop from a Cinemax After Dark movie. I thought that too. I thought, oh my god, this is a porno now. And guess what? That woman who played the cop is also in Dinosaur Hotel.
She is.
Well, we gotta watch it.
Yeah,
we gotta watch
almost
that
the same
movie.
cast. They probably shot it.
Yeah.
In parallel.
She's
from the same house.
A British actress. Chrissy Wanna is her name.
Okay.
Listman, yeah, we have to be so excited too. Maybe we should wait for this and do it as a double feature. They have finished shooting Dinosaur Hotel 2. I see here on her IMDb. That is
I was
completed.
so worried.
The other one that we need to remember for future Christmas episodes is the director of one of the directors of this, Rebecca Matthews, has also just finished filming a movie called Nutcracker Massacre, which yes is about a possessed killer Nutcracker doll.
I love when the genre was basically invented. What was it? Silent Night, Deadly Night, something like that.
Yep, Silent Night, Deadly Night. Yeah.
There's Santa with an axe going down the chimney.
Oh, the poster for that is amazing because it's just the Santa arm like out of the chimney, but holding the axe on like a snowy roof, and you're just like, yeah.
Oh my god.
When I think of Christmas and the holidays, one of my first thoughts is serial killing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's so much of those, right? There was after Halloween, there was the whole run of holiday themed slasher movies. The best title of which is still New Year's Evil. By far, New Year's Evil is the movie is whatever, but the title is amazing.
Again, it's like somebody somewhere thought of this and was excited about this idea and pitched it. You know?
So let's also get into before Bronzi, because he gets the assignment to go there as renegade priest. But first, he's going to visit the grave of his dead wife, which is part of his tragic backstory.
Sure.
What is the deal with this exactly? Does any of this really matter?
I don't know,
No.
and also it was startling when he drew his gun on his wife's grave. You know? That was
Holy shit!
That's weird. That's a weird choice.
He didn't do that, folks, but he
there-
might as well have.
but
It would have
there
made
are-
the movie better, actually.
No, there are so many times
Yeah.
throughout the movie. I love how quick he is to pull his gun. Once again, the movie doesn't make it weird enough that a priest is carrying a gun around.
There's one scene where
No.
he's cleaning the gun at the dining table.
Yeah. And Listman, I think I recognize this gun as a fake gun we used to have in our movies, and it's made of plastic. It's kind of a shitty gun.
100%.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
bad prop gun.
It's a fake gun you don't want to linger on too long, you know?
Plus it had that fluorescent tip on the end of the barrel. You know, right?
Right.
Oh my god! Do you remember how much time we used to spend prying those off or painting them?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. We used to because we would buy those prop guns like that.
Like airsoft guns. Yeah.
Airsoft guns. Yeah. Exactly. Now I know where to get better stuff. If we need guns in a movie, but
I started making films actually in middle school. I used to make 8mm stop motion films, and there was a class in my middle school, so we would do pyrotechnics, real pyrotechnics, but the way we had to do it is we'd take firecrackers, and we'd have to slice open the firecrackers to get the powder out, and to get enough powder to make a flash pod, it would take us like 3.5 hours to make one little flash pod.
Well, and I will say,
we do it.
This is the thing. And we go back and forth about this, Listman, about the digital gun effects, because I get, well, number one, they're doing it for not for safety, but for cost here, obviously.
Yes.
But it is this big debate going on now about whether or not they should be using any kind of firing weapons of any sort on movie sets. I will say this movie is a strong indication we do need to stick with blanks, because my God, both the digital muzzle flare and the sound. It's another movie. This comes up so many times. The gun is so quiet in this movie.
It's so quiet. Yeah, and it's a massive handgun.
Yeah, it's like a 357.
Yeah.
Well, that's what gets me about movies, even mainstream good movies, is, you know, if for people who've ever shot a pistol, it is so skull-crushingly loud. Yeah. And in movies like that, people shooting next to each other's head and stuff.
Inside like an enclosed space.
I was just watching a movie
loud.
the other night, not for this show, but just because I watch stuff like this anyway, where a woman was trapped inside of a coffin and she used a gun to shoot the hinges off of it. And I thought, well, she's deaf getting out of there. You know, she's obviously escaped.
She made it out, you know.
Yeah, but she's just like, oh, all right, and walks off, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. You know,
I'm sure you guys know this, but Robert Rodriguez, when he's filming his El Mariachi is a student film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't afford blanks because they were more expensive, so they used live ammo.
Yeah.
In their scenes.
There's a lot of crazy stories like that where you're like, Jesus Christ.
It's cheaper to shoot real ammo.
There's got to be something wrong with that, you know?
There is.
Yeah, that's stupid illegal.
Yeah,
but, that guy had to cut a lot of corners to make
to make that film. Yeah,
I saw a thing with Buster Keaton where they were actually shooting a live Tommy gun in one of his movies, and he had to dodge.
They used to do that back in old Warner Brothers gangster movies. If somebody was being shot at, they would hire marksmen to shoot near the actors so they would really hit bullets in the walls.
God, that's
horrifying.
You
have like James Cagney step out of an alley and there's a bullet that really hits next to the wall and he's like, Jesus,
Good Lord.
Don't worry, that man's a trained marksman is kind of their attitude. I know, that's the thing. And now we're going like, should we even use blank ammo? And back then they were like, Jesus Christ, man.
Just do it.
We got a guy with a rifle up there. Yeah, I know, right?
That's horrifying.
Yeah. But
it was authentic, I believed it was a real
acting required, man.
Yeah, I would legitimately be terrified. Yeah. So yeah, don't even have to act.
So he goes out to this little cottage in England, and that's basically where the rest of the movie will be. You got to have the scene of him prepping his tools. I think this is where you get him cleaning the gun too. Because you get him with you get the holy water, you get the cross. I will say, for as bad as the gun prop is, I did like the cross. The crucifix was a good, solid prop that should be in like a vampire
I think
movie.
If you're doing an Exorcist movie, or maybe even a vampire movie, that cross should be more important than a gun. Because
there shouldn't be a gun.
Yeah, it was very, very good. I think he got it at the Crucifix Hut.
I think so, yeah.
At the outlet mall.
If any of you need a crucifix, I know a guy who can get you a hell of a deal.
I'm sorry. Heck of a deal. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that. I guess you could say I'm kind of a renegade priest. Whatever.
Who shoots demons.
Yeah.
He sends demons to hell. Wait a minute.
How the missed opportunity to have him gunning down a demon going, the power of Christ compels
why
you.
Did he never dip his bullets in holy water?
Oh my God. I mean, that's the thing. Once again,
many wasted
we want
yeah.
This movie. One of the problems with movies are so serious. What I want a grindhouse gun-toting priest versus the devil movie is what I want. Something that is really schlocky. I want the Roger Corman version of this movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the title of the movie promised.
That was what I was expecting,
really
and the promo imagery was all him with the gun and stuff like that. And so that, I am a little bit disappointed. The movie is stupid, but not stupid fun.
Like it doesn't know it's stupid. It's not like Sharknado, which
it's trying to be. This movie thinks it's like a serious. And the other thing this movie very sadly thinks is that it's scary. It thinks it's creepy
for the wrong reasons, though.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing I was thinking about in all the scenes where they film is all the scenes where somebody's possessed is, man, an actor has to look pretty silly to be possessed, and you really are hoping the director finds a way to cut that. They didn't here. Like there's
a level of trust you have in the director,
because it's really silly
to shoot you in a way that's,
and it's really silly to crawl around there on ground going, like that. Like you think about the Evil Dead movies and stuff like that, right? It's all about the energy of it. Here, it's so flatly shot with such long takes that I'm just going. I am conscious of, this poor actor.
Yeah.
All right, so they're in this cottage, right? And then so like we have the new one, like it was her, I don't know, her caretaker or
niece,
stepdaughter, I don't know. So she's got it now,
and then the whole family is gathered there. I did think was the pitch for this Knives Out with a demon?
Yes,
that's what I was. I was not expecting the whodunit aspect of the movie.
It's instead of whodunit, it's who demon.
So this has one of my favorite scenes in it, where like the I don't know who it is, who's the second woman who's possessed.
Yeah,
and she's in the bathroom making all this noise, And then one of the other cast woman comes in, knocks on the door, opens the door, and she's writhing on the floor. She is missing her eyes, and all this stuff's happening. And the other the other character goes, "Are you okay?"
Hey, you okay?
Oh my gosh! And it's very obvious she's not okay, but
No.
she had to.
Yeah, those are my
polite.
favorite kinds of lines.
Yeah.
I love
okay?
stuff like that.
Well,
in
wait,
these
what was
movies.
the? Oh no, that was over on the Listman. If you're not already subscribed to our Patreon feed, you should be, because Listman was recently on an episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, a monster podcast
Yes.
they do. But in that, in the movie you were on, Listman, there's a scene where a giant cement column crushes a guy, and somebody actually does go, "He's dead." No shit,
man.
he got squished. Like,
Oh, in that
he's
same
dead.
After she starts getting scared, and then she, instead of running, which is, as soon as I saw that, I'm running. I don't care.
Yeah,
She thinks
that
to
house is gone.
She
I
thinks to
would
pull
leave.
out her smartphone
Yep.
and to turn on the flashlight. And maybe she thought she couldn't see that. I don't know, but so the light from her smartphone starts like bothering the possessed woman or something. And then she finally shuts the door. Finally.
Well, can I ask
Oh.
this? Who called Bronzi?
I don't know.
The older woman did.
The daughter, because the family.
Yes, the casting director.
The family.
No, Christine, the character named Christine.
Because the family gathers at the house here, and we should just for sake of this. So after the old woman dies, and then passes on the possession to her caretaker, the family gathers, and she has a son and daughter who have. Let's see. The daughter has a daughter, and they each have a son and daughter, right?
Yes.
And then there's the literal black sheep cousin, who's all dressed in black, who's just Listen,
Was that Nick?
Let's see.
No, Rose is the
black sheep cousin. Nick is the grandson. Patrick is the son of the old woman. Christine, who you're talking about, is the woman who died. That's her daughter. And then her daughter, so the granddaughter, is Rebecca. Not that any of this matters. I barely clocked any of these names. Rose is the only one I caught because they keep saying it.
Yes.
I think there's a Maggie and Sleepy, Dopey, Happy.
There's there's not a Maggie. There's a Magda.
Magda, yes, that's right.
And is that the character?
Magda is the caretaker.
Caretaker,
yes.
yeah. So she's the one who's currently possessed when Bronzi shows up. And yes, the highlight of the movie is something I've never seen in an exorcism movie, which is she's spouting all of her demon, and Bronzi just fucking backhands her across the room, man. That was something.
Well, I mean, when you're speaking in devil tongue, that's very offensive, the things coming out of her mouth.
Knock that shit out right now.
So they put her on the bed, and this is where they homage the original Exorcist.
Yeah,
movie.
they zip tie her to the bed, yeah.
Okay, but that gets me. Is like they did a terrible job with the zip ties.
Yep.
Because they kept putting her hands back into the zip tie. Didn't tighten
She
them.
kept getting out.
Well, and the thing is,
kept getting out.
This is the thing with the demon talk. It doesn't have the visceral nature of the Exorcist, because they're just kind of spouting demon babble. There's no, I mean, the thing that will always stand out to me from the Exorcist is when the demon goes, "Your mother sucks cocks in hell." You know, it's like it's a taunting, and it's a clear voice. You know, and here it's just like.
Wait, I just found on the web what she was saying in demon speak was a recipe for baklava.
Oh, okay.
And Bronzi's there with his notebook going, "Everybody be quiet. I'm trying to take this down." Okay.
Olive oil, that's the secret.
Yes.
I should have known.
Oh, that's when I've been going wrong. I understand.
I've been using canola oil the whole time.
All right, now I'm gonna shoot this demon.
Now I need a high temperature oil for my buck. And again, I apologize to our Hungarian listeners. I don't know Hungarian food, so I would have said something Hungarian for the joke.
Yeah. They tie her down. This made me laugh. They get her tied down, and he goes, "All right, we start tomorrow." Tomorrow? What? And then he fucking goes to bed. You literally see him. He's like, "Oh, what a day!" And he's taking his shoes off and getting into bed. I was like, "Good Lord, come on, man."
I will be staying here for 4 months. Don't worry about it.
Once again, in The Exorcist, I don't remember Max von Sydow being like, "Yes, now it is time for me to take a rest. Is there a room I could use? I just need to sleep for the night, and then we'll get to exercising tomorrow."
Well, I
would have done it today, but union rules and all that.
It's after 5. It's quitting time.
Does Bronzi's character even have a name?
Yes, he does. He does. It's Father Joseph.
Okay, that's right, Father Joseph. Well, in fairness, Father Joseph's part of the vigilante priest union, so it was 5 o'clock. They had to knock off.
Sorry,
according to union
unless
rules.
you want to pay me overtime, it's bedtime for me.
You know what? This movie's not so bad after all. Now that we're talking about
it. All of these movies we can make much sillier. The other thing that I will say though is, in this movie's defense, blissful 87-minute runtime. Thank you, film. It does not overstay its. As stupid as it is, it really didn't drag for me. I was able to watch it straight through.
Yeah,
even though it was pretty dumb.
That was the first thing I checked was runtime, and I was like, "Oh, thank God."
No, I don't know if you've picked up on this, Listman, but I think both you and I, without even talking about it, have rejected anything that starts to run too long on this show at this point.
Yeah, we didn't need to talk about it.
We don't need to do. I mean, once again, we talk about anything creeps up into like over 90 to 100 minutes. Yikes.
Yeah, I don't think we can do Gone with the Exorcist because Gone with the Exorcist is 4 hours long.
Although I will say,
there's an intermission in between.
It is.
The two halves.
Thank God, because it's so cheap and stuff and stupid. But also, I do think it actually probably damages story that is so short because we have no sense of any character, because the movie is just like, we got to get to the thing. Let's go.
Well, there's also a lot of characters in this movie.
There's too many characters. I mean, it is like, dude, either do a possession movie or a whodunit. A possession whodunit is very dumb. Because I did think
it is.
Once they got into like, and there's a killer in this house, I'm like, wait a minute. Is there not a demon possession then? I don't understand.
Yeah.
It comes from access to a killer. Also, okay, so now
it turns into a slasher movie.
It was like Nick.
It is the grandson who gets it bad.
Very smart mouth on that.
I think this is the kill of the movie simply because it's the only one that's like viscerally bloody, right? He just gets stabbed to pieces.
Yeah, so he dies, and then I love the reactions to it. I mean, first they're like,
my God.
They're like upset, but again, no one calls the cops, and then like 3 minutes later, they're all just kind of chatting.
Bronzi specifically is like, "No, don't involve the police in this." The man's body is right there, and he's like, No, don't call the cops.
That's
what the devil wants us to do.
This section made me so mad because they're all like, so he gets stabbed at night after everybody goes to bed. And so they wake up, they're having like a normal morning. And I'm like, so his body's still there, right?
Yeah.
How has nobody noticed? They've had breakfast, they've had coffee.
Well, it's finally,
they've been talking for a while.
I think it's finally.
And when it reveals where he is, and it's just his legs sticking out from behind a chair.
He's literally in the other room, just behind a chair.
And nobody noticed.
No, they're all like, hey, what happened to Nick? Where'd he go? And Rose, not wanting to let on that she's a Satanist, is the one, though, who goes, oh, I think he probably went out for a jog or something.
Oh, that's right.
And then it's only when they call his phone and hear it ringing in the other room do they go, oh my God, he's been stabbed 1,000,000 times.
Wouldn't there be like the body?
Well, number one, you might smell something, and number two, there'd be so much fucking blood soaked into everything. The amount of times this
He's
dude
also
gets
a very tall man,
yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of person to try and hide behind that tiny little chair.
Also, this is weird. Bronzi immediately is like, wait a minute, there's a secret, because they go, well, it couldn't have been the possessed woman because she's locked up in that room. He goes, no, look at this. There's a secret passage in the closet.
We will not show it on film, but there is one. Believe me.
If you look over here just off camera, there is a secret passage. And then we get into this weird thing. Where the granddaughter is like, how did you know? You've been here before. He's like, yes, I have been in this building before when it was a school, and that's where I met my wife. And you're like, what? Wait, what?
Was it the X-Men school, the school for the gifted?
It's here. It's Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. I briefly had some telepathy powers as a child. Yeah. No, it's
superpower is boring people to sleep. You know?
I don't. But
yes.
I mean, even as soon as you give him the Bronson voice, he does become more exciting because there is an energy to Bronson that is missing from this guy. So that's why I kind of always give him that. Yeah, that's right. But
this is the point of the movie. This is the point of the movie where I texted John. I go, correct me, remind me. Am I supposed to root for the protagonist?
Jerry
I started rooting for the demon.
Jerry texted me last night going, I think I'm rooting for the demon now. No, but I'm like, what does this have to do with anything?
Why is this in?
Why is
this in there?
Why did he? I guess because the idea. But it takes so much work to get to this. The devil lured him here to a place he has a connection to, but that also means that this old woman had to buy that place and live there for decades.
Yes.
It just doesn't. He does get the second and last of any kind of one-liner here when he says, because she's like, will you help exorcise this person? We're finally getting to actual exorcism. And he goes, just remember, this isn't a sermon. It's a confrontation.
Yeah.
I think I froze.
Surprised it's not the tagline of the movie.
Yeah. So I love Bronzi's
what's the difference?
It's a confrontation. It's just you. I was waiting for the all right, it's you and me now, Satan. That's what I was waiting for, and it never comes to that.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what we want, we can't get, which is, we already saw that movie last Spooktober, right? When we had Chuck Norris literally hand to hand fighting the devil in a movie we watched last Spook. That was the best ever. He was roundhouse kicking Satan in the face.
Exactly. We stated before the movie, if Chuck Norris does not roundhouse kick the devil, then this movie has failed. Yeah. And it did not fail. It delivered the roundhouse kick we were waiting for.
Yes.
This movie should have taken some lessons from that.
Chuck Norris gave Satan a beat down in that movie, and it ruled.
George Carlin had a famous routine talking about supernatural and angels and stuff, but they all seem to have to obey physical laws.
Yeah. Well, there is always that. The thing I come back to, and I don't know, but I was gonna say, watch us lose a chunk of the audience here when it becomes atheist talk. But it is always one of those things I go to, like, there have been thousands of religions over time and stuff, and you just happen to find the exact true one. Like, that's sort of the thing I always come back to about these kind of movies, too, where it's like, in order to buy into this stuff, it means you have to literally take the Bible at face value. And that's just not, that doesn't work. So now it's exorcism time. He's got the granddaughter reading from the Bible as he's, doing the classic, the power of Christ compels you. Seems like she's doing most of the work, by the way, by reading from.
I know she is. Oh yeah.
And then of course this is where we get she breaks out of the things, and now she's floating in the air, and he's holding her back with the cross. It feels very Hammer vampire movie anytime he puts that up and is like, "You will not pass, demon."
Again, if I see a floating person, I'm running. I'm out.
I know it's and yet dumb Uncle Patrick is like, yeah, I still don't buy any of this.
I know it. He's skeptical.
Listen, I literally just said I don't buy any of this, but Jesus Christ, man, you got to take what you see here. Some supernatural's happening. I don't know that but it's like, I at a certain point want Bronzi to be like, oh God, are you kidding me, pal? I'm gonna shoot you in a second here. So yeah, she floats. He does see the face of, this is the first time we see the face of the devil on her briefly, and the face of the devil is like this white-skinned, black-eyed. I don't know. It looks like a
potato.
Yeah, it looks closer to like an alien than anything I'd think of as a Satan sort of.
It might have been a potato. I mean, they used potatoes in Empire Strikes Back for asteroids. So
true.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
But for just a second it goes, which once again it's trying to do the Exorcist thing where you do see sporadic frames of the demon face, but number one, that was a much simpler design, and two, really didn't linger.
Yes. Yeah, this lingered a little too long. It was trying to do that like very quick flash of.
Well, they could only afford half an hour in the editing bay on that one.
So right, exactly.
The demon whatever leaves her because now the caretaker woman is dead after this exorcism.
Because I think Bronzi shot her. Is that right?
No, he just pulls the gun here. He doesn't actually shoot her.
For some reason, I thought he shot her.
Where he got pushed, like he was going to shoot, and then someone pushed him, and he shot down.
That's it. It's the he aims the gun at her, and it's Uncle Patrick who's like, no, and the gun shoots into the floor.
So then why did she die?
That's unclear. But it's just so Uncle Patrick can be like, "You fucking killed her. You got to get out of here." Okay. He goes, "You've brought nothing but death to this house."
And then Bronzi just goes off on him in his tour de force of his scent of a woman style monologue.
Oh no, not even close. He just sits there and goes, I don't think that'd be a good idea if I left.
Exactly.
Because he goes, I may have exorcised the demon, but there is still a killer in this house.
Hoo-ha, I'm just getting warmed up.
Yeah. I will say, this movie with renegade priest Al Pacino, 100 times better.
Oh
man! Perfection. The power of Christ compels you.
Oh
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now we're cooking with gas. Here we go.
Attica.
Well, of course, very famously, and in one of my favorite nut job Pacino performances, he did play the devil. If anyone remembers The Devil's Advocate with him and Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
A totally bonkersville performance from Pacino.
Yes.
And also, you're like, who else should play the devil? Obviously, Al Pacino.
It's got to be Pacino. Yeah.
I've gone by many names. Yeah. Beelzebub. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You got him down. I can't do.
Well, Jerry, this is also, there's a character I play in the show we do that is a very Pacino-esque. So, but, oh, yeah. Sometimes he's a voice that's fun to do when you just go like, oh yeah. Yeah, he's always making borderline orgasmic sounds. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that kind of. I like impressions that are just noises sometimes.
Now that's all I want. I just want Pacino in this movie instead of Bronzi.
We may have flushed out the devil, but there is still a killer in this house.
Pacino never really fell down this rabbit hole, right? Like he never really fell down.
Oh no, there's some Pacino movies on our.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Can't wait.
There's a couple. Oh yeah.
Great. I'm very excited.
He's only made a couple. I wouldn't say he's ever fallen down it, but he's dabbled in this world, let's say.
So now that
now it turns into we're hunting for a killer. It kind of stops being. It will become a possession movie again, but here it kind of stops for a while, and it's like somewhere in this house there's a murderer.
It's kind of like. Oh, go ahead, Jerry.
No, it's just like the. Patrick is his name.
Yeah.
I think they have a long scene where they're at a table talking, and
Yep.
And I probably just tuned out, was thinking about what I was going to eat, and but after that, isn't it where like
right now? Yeah.
the killer appears in like he's in the living room, I guess.
Oh,
and the killer appears in like a hooded
Yeah,
raincoat.
they're in like a black.
This was what made the movie so worthwhile for me, because once Patrick runs into the killer, who you can't see the face in the living room, and what happens next is the slowest chase in film history.
It's also the killer is also chasing with a ceramic pot as the murder weapon, which is also a bizarre choice.
Oh, okay, yeah,
a watering can.
That's what's amazing. So he's like barely trying to. I think he got stabbed once, and he's trying to get out onto the porch.
Yeah,
and the killer's just taking a step, like one every 10 seconds, and he gets out there, and then there's this conspicuously placed tin watering can.
Oh, it's a watering can. Yeah, that's what it is.
And that's what the killer uses to kill Patrick, a watering can.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, in fact, I think the chase is so slow. I think it's still going on while we're doing this podcast.
Yes, and they're still filming it even to this day.
This is where we get the Bronzi flashback to, I guess, in his dark youth when he was a drug dealer. He hands this drug user it's like crystal meth. It's a crystalline drug that he hands him. I don't know what it is. It's crack rocks or something. But as soon as this guy gets high, his face turns into that of the devil, and then Bronzi wakes up. And I guess that's the time that Bronzi is the only person on Earth who's seen the face of the devil.
But why did he see the devil's
I have
face
no
there?
idea, but I guess that's what drove him into the priesthood?
Well, they filmed that scene because he's a method actor. He was actually asleep when they filmed that.
Yes.
Well, if he's asleep anyway,
was the trailer.
Yeah.
If he's asleep anyway, maybe we should put a dream sequence in here. So then they all wake up the next morning to find Patrick beaten to death out on the back patio.
But he was well watered, so
that's good. Yeah, he wasn't dehydrated.
And again, how they react to it, it's just like
they're like, "Get out of here, Bronzi!" Once again, their first instinct is, "Get out! This is obviously your fault." Oh, and by the way, he wrote you a note right before he died, so take that shit with you. And I got the long scene of Bronzi walking out to his car, but like looking back sadly, like, okay, I'm going now. Here I go, gonna get in my Kia Sorento.
And I'm gonna go get a coffee at Starbucks.
Yeah. Oh, how much do you want to see him go like, yes, give me a non-fat grande macchiato, easy on the whip.
I gotta watch my figure.
Do you
want a venti, sir? I don't know, whatever's largest.
Yeah, whatever, pick the biggest one. But easy on the dairy, it upsets the old tum-tum. I don't want to be in the bathroom all night. Jesus.
See, they should have hired you, John, to rewrite the script. I'm telling you.
Yeah, just adding him like mundane scenes of him ordering coffee. That's what this movie needs.
Him putting the pieces together. He didn't do any work. It was Patrick who wrote the letter.
That
had him realize
gave him
that it was
all
wrote.
the photos he needs as evidence.
Yes, yes.
And we get Burkoff on the phone being like, "Yeah, I'm still in this movie. Hey, man." He goes, "What?" He goes, "How's the exorcism go?" He's like, "Oh, they threw me out." And the guy's like, "Hey, that's not cool. You go back there and tell them you have to stay." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Hey, wait a minute. Here's all the evidence.
I should have thought of that.
All the evidence I need to solve this mystery." Because yes, he sees
maybe the laziest screenwriting I've ever seen.
Yeah, it is. It's not much of a
have
detective story. If once again in Knives Out, there's not just a scene where Daniel Craig gets, oh, good, all the pieces of evidence are right here in front of me. I see. Yes, somebody else has put it together.
See, they would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for that crazy priest.
Well, because we do, and oh boy, the scene really lingers because he sees the tattoo on Rose's leg, and then it flashes back to the symbols the woman was making in blood on the floor. He's like, "Oh my God, now I know who did it. Except it doesn't make sense because the movie cheats in a way that I fucking hate, where the person in the big hooded robe that killed the other people was really tall, and then it's this tiny little woman that it actually is. You're like, no, movie, you can't. That's not cool.
Yeah,
she wore stilts.
Yeah,
construction stilts.
Oh, that would have been
very
great.
tall platform shoes.
That would have been
actually.
great. He whips the
He did
hood
a lot
off.
of drywalling in between gigs.
He whips the hood off, and it reveals her. They go, but she's such a tiny woman, and he whips the lower part off, and she's on stilts. Hey, see how it's done. This is not
Or
the
they
devil.
do that thing like where the kids go into the bank and they're standing
No,
on each
they're
other's
standing.
shoulders with
It's the two people together.
with the trench coat and fake mustache.
But while this is happening, this is where the mother is on the phone with the police going, oh no, officer, everything is just... By the way, as soon as there's a British woman, it just turns into Terry Jones and Monty Python, my impression. But, oh no, it's just...
I love this scene. That's what...
Yeah, it's,
Like, are they in on it? Or did they get possessed too? But
she's possessed, right? That's the thing with the mother,
Okay.
where she goes, "Oh, everything's fine here.
Oh,
Everything's fine
right,
here, Mr.
okay.
Policeman. No reason to come out and check on us."
and this is the scene too where they
He's a very naughty boy.
inexplicably when they reveal that she's a demon. I forget what character's in there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
she
But
I love the lightning. I love the lightning. You can obviously tell it's an LED flash.
Oh God,
but
yeah, it's bad.
But when they turn to the camera and she's just inexplicably spewing like black liquid out of her
Oh, that's
mouth.
great stuff.
Like it's just dribbling out of her mouth.
Well, because that happens when the granddaughter is like, wait, why would you tell the police that? 2 people have been murdered. They need to come here right now.
Right.
And then Rose appears behind her, and it's like, yo, nobody's telling anyone anything. And yeah, when she turns back, the mother is pouring black liquid like she's fucking the Penguin in at the end of Batman Returns.
I gotta tell you, the actor committed. She committed to it. You know, she
did.
She really did commit to it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I wasn't scared. I was
no.
I was
No.
I was cackling loudly.
I at no point in this movie was I even remotely scared. Now I'm pretty.
No.
I have a pretty strong tolerance for these horror movies, so I rarely get scared of these things anyway. But this
but this movie was not scary.
This
so.
thing though, but I can at least understand when something's scary, even if I'm not viscerally feeling it. This is just this is you're just going like, well, this is just silly. And a lot of that is due to the filmmaking. It's just nothing about the presentation of it is scary, even if what you're seeing is supposedly upsetting in some way. Yeah, so Bronzi comes back. This is where Bronzi comes back. All the lights are off in the house and no one's around. Why, that's suspicious. And then out of nowhere he starts getting choked. Because in this, the demonic possession powers are really close to the Force, right? Like,
I know, that's what I was thinking. Oh my God,
I completely forgot about this.
Yeah, because they actually have the demon like raising out like Darth Vader and making the choking hand. He's like, oh. I thought, I don't think I've ever seen that. I mean, like in The Exorcist,
it was an homage.
In The Exorcist, people get like thrown about and stuff by demonic powers, but I don't remember it ever being like, oh, he's got me by the throat.
I thought it was a little crass when the demon said, "Don't choke on your emotion." That's a little.
Yeah.
A little.
That you saw that cut. They had to cut that out after Disney sent a cease and desist letter.
Yeah.
Don't steal our
Exactly.
shit. Never did
Just
love.
blanked out.
Did not love that Vader line. A little quippy for him.
I did not
Otherwise,
either.
I loved Rogue One, but that line I thought was a little like, dude, that's a little too, snarky for Darth Vader.
I mean, Vader not a punny.
No,
sick,
yeah.
You know?
I mean, you did expect him as he walks away to be like, "Oh, that was good stuff, Vader."
Oh, man.
Yeah,
I gotta write that one down. Oh, man.
Emperor's gonna love this one.
You'll never believe it, Emperor.
Hey,
I was choking
Palpatine,
him.
guess what I said?
I was totally choking Subdirector Krennic, and then
You did?
Yeah,
That's what you said?
Yeah,
That's brilliant.
He must have been so scared when you said that.
Wait, tell me it again.
Yeah. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. Can I use that?
I gotta use that one in my book that I'm writing.
Strike me down. Don't choke on your ambition. Oh, it's gonna kill.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Well, I don't mean to criticize, but that really doesn't apply to this situation, Emperor.
You got any about, like, lightning or thing like that?
Maybe it's something to do with extra crispy.
Yes.
I love the idea of them coming up with, I gotta say something here. This is gonna be good. Hold on, let me consult my sheet of one-liners. Now, he is kind of a quippy son of a bitch. The Emperor might say, don't choke on your arm. He is kind of quippy. All right, so yeah. Oh, this scene that is really not scary is when the mother is sitting, the possessed mother is in the chair with the white sheet over her. What
like,
even?
Obviously in the chair?
But like,
why is she in the chair like that?
Yeah, once again, this is another thing where it's like, okay, well, I'm going to put the sheet over me, and then I'm going to crawl out of it, and it's going to be real scary. Like, you have to set this up.
Mm-hmm. Again, I want to see the scene where she sits down in the chair, sets everything up, and gets ready and hides,
because she
waits to ambush.
She starts moving around under the sheet, and then she tears through the sheet, and her mouth once again is dripping the goo.
She just tears
and once again, I wasn't scared. I was more like, "What the? Why is she doing this?" Like, I was just more confused. I was scared of how confused.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
All right, for the wannabe and amateur filmmakers out there, I'm going to save you $5,000. Is that everything should move the plot forward?
Yes.
That's the basic rule.
Yes.
Okay.
Every scene needs to advance plot and/or character. That if it doesn't, cut that scene. That's the general rule of thumb in screenwriting.
Well, but John, in fairness, she really, really, really likes clean linen.
Yeah.
In this film. So I guess maybe that's her character.
She's just under there going.
It's character development.
It's freshly washed.
So cozy.
So that we get another lame.
It's lavender. Ooh.
I'm so glad I used fabric softener. We get another lame chase scene now where they're running from the possessed mother, and this is
again very slowly,
and this is a pretty lame move where Bronzi just closes a door and he's like, "That'll get her," and then she just opens
the
door.
door.
Yeah, and she comes through it, and
he's
they
like, stand on the other side. Like they forgot that the door wasn't locked.
Yeah.
No!
And she just opens it and he's like, oh,
like
shit.
Down the hallway, and then the door opens. She's coming after them.
So he sends the girl off and he's like, this is where he should be like, just you and me now, Satan. And this is where he starts splashing the holy water on her face and it's burning, of course. So yeah, she's, let's see. Oh, then he finally lands where he puts the cross against her head and she's screaming. Whatever, and I guess that's I guess that took care of her because we don't see her again. We see her again, and she's not possessed. But then then it turns back into the killer movie when he goes in the other room, and it's just Rose now holding the granddaughter with a gun to her head. And you're like, oh, okay, I guess we're just back to this now. And he's like, whoa, 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 everybody be cool. Let's just put the gun down and talk this out.
Because a demon's gonna hold something hostage with a gun. That's
I love that.
That's in Revelation.
Where'd those force powers go?
What's your superpower? I can hold a gun to a head.
I know. I'm just going like, wait a minute. You were force choking Bronzi earlier. Why do you like now? It's Mr. 357. So they So she's got the gun to her head, and this is where she explains her whole thing is that because she's just their cousin, she wasn't loved enough and left out of the will.
Oh, that's right.
So the biggest laugh I had, she goes, so that's when I turned to the Dark Lord himself. I was like, oh my God. This is...
What, for a loan?
Yeah.
To improve her credit?
Okay, hold on. Let's see. Now, what can we do interest-wise for you here? Oh boy. Well, here's the thing. It's a 10% interest, but you do have to lure my arch nemesis to a cottage in the woods. That's how.
That was the down payment of the whole film.
Yeah.
She wanted a house.
Yeah.
That's what started all this.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. You are pre-approved, but
I love it's a
Can we
full
do a short sale?
It's
Mr.
a full
Satan?
Satan with the horns, but he's got the little reading glasses on, and he's running it through a.
He's got an old school calculator that prints out paper.
Coffee mug.
yes, well,
He asks a she demon to get him some coffee.
It's that in the coffee mug. The coffee mug
He's
says
feeling tired.
the coffee mug says "Hell's best boss."
Does Satan ever sleep? Does he sleep? Does he take a nap? Or is he just 24/7?
Hang on. It's quitting time today. I'll call you with the details tomorrow. But I'm off the clock.
He's gonna go down to the tonic lounge for a couple of slippery booms, after work.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's half off drink night down at the bar.
Can I go? No, it's not ladies' night.
No. It's karaoke. I'm going to sing sympathy
He
for
cleans
the
up
devil.
on trivia night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he I just once again, this is just when you're writing, think about your script and you go like, the whole motive, I'm going to sell my soul to Satan because I got left out of my grandmother's will. Fuck off, movie. That is awful.
Yeah, that's not very good motivation.
So anyway, it is finally the granddaughter once again who says the final prayer that wards the devil out of. Bronzi doesn't do shit in this movie.
No, he does not.
And so, but
if anything, he's responsible for people getting murdered because he keeps insisting that the cops aren't called.
Yeah, whatever you do not call the cops.
It's because he's wanted.
Yeah.
On some outstanding traffic.
No, I don't know what are you talking about? I definitely paid those parking tickets. Gotta go. No. He for some reason he's dying.
His character doesn't do anything in the movie, and Bronzi doesn't do anything in the movie. So
it's
twofold.
True.
But for some reason he's lying on the ground dying now. I didn't understand this.
And then he reappears. That's the thing.
Well, he's dying.
I thought he died, which I was happy about.
No, because he sees the ghost of his dead wife, and he's like, maybe it's time to rejoin you. And she goes, no, you still have work to do. And I thought, oh, God, here's the sequel setup.
Some weeding needs to be done in the backyard.
Yeah.
It is pretty
so
funny.
So you can't die yet.
The next Bronzi movie we're doing is called The Gardener, and he does play a gardener in it. So that actually...
it's called Honeydew List.
Off.
Yeah. So we go
a bit of a preview for that.
Some amount of time later, and now the granddaughter and her mother, who's in a wheelchair, they go to Bronzi's church, and there's just a one-off line about, well, Rose is getting the help she needs, and you're like, help she needs? She didn't have a psychological issue. She sold her soul to Satan. But they go like, maybe the doctors can help her. With what? I don't know.
With demon possession?
I don't know. That's so weird. But anyway, we go back out to the graveyard, and now the granddaughter is standing at Bronzi's wife's grave, and Bronzi comes up to her there, and he's like, no, I didn't die. She said I still have work to do. And
he comes up behind her, goes, boo.
Yeah.
Boo.
Yeah. Little humor there.
Did I scare you?
Yeah. By the way, Robert Bronzi needs to play a with this accent. He's got to be a vampire in something, right? Yeah,
he should be. That would be great.
Because he already looks like he's undead, so he's perfect for it.
Yeah.
Give him.
I feel like they wouldn't cast him as a vampire. They'd cast him as Van Helsing.
Yeah,
exactly. If he was in a movie, unfortunately, but
by the way, I wish the real Charles Bronson had played. He never did like a supernatural thing. If he had done like a vampire hunter thing, where it's like
that would have been so good.
Time's up for you, you blood sucking son of a bitch. Like
he kind of, sort of supernatural. This is one of his last movies, like Messenger or something like that.
Messenger of Death. That was him versus a religious cult. Yeah, that was approaching that, but it was still They didn't literally have powers. It was kind of vague mysticism stuff. But yeah, that's probably as close as he got to like the horror genre. And that is an episode we'll have to do, Lisman, which is Bronzi versus a cult. Or Bronson.
Definitely.
Actually, Bronson.
Pretty bad movie.
It's not good,
bad.
No. So, yeah. And right on cue with I Still Have Work to Do, here comes Burkoff with, here's your next case. And they give him a file folder with like a woman with a bunch of demon claw marks on her, and it's like, time to go to work, and then it ends. And I just thought, oh, please no, don't set up a sequel. I don't need more of this shit in my life. Well,
I'm really sad they didn't give him a Dark Knight, esque at the end of the movie,
He gets on his motorcycle.
Well, his next case is tax fraud.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's working for the IRS. Yeah.
I see here you made a few suspicious deductions. I don't like the looks of this.
Don't call Department of Revenue. Don't.
Yeah. Whatever you do not call the IRS. Yeah. Well, so that's Exorcist Vengeance, a not good movie.
Yep.
Believe it or not, folks. I said I think there's only one thing we could possibly put in for kill of the movie, which is that stabbing death.
Not shot by an arrow, but stabbed by an arrow.
Stabbed by an arrow. Right. Yeah, that's the best death. I mean, the watering can thing is mostly implied, number one, and silly.
That's certainly the stupidest death.
Yeah, but it's visually it's not anything really. We don't even really see it. It's sort of just like it raises up and cuts away.
You got killed by a gardening tool. What was it?
Yeah.
Was it an axe? Was it No, it was a
shears,
water can.
Maybe.
Some gardening shears.
One of my favorite Hot Fuzz death is where the person gets the clippers to the neck. That was cool because Edgar Wright knows how to do that.
Here's the thing: those watering cans are really light, so at most you're just going to really annoy the person.
Yeah, I don't know how you're getting the weight to really like bash in a skull with it. It's no, yeah.
Demon's like, hold still.
Yeah. God damn it. I should have picked a different instrument, but I'm committed to it now.
I have to hit you 100 more times.
Here, this is an either or for one liner in the movie. Is it?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. No, but he sent me. Or is it? This isn't a sermon. It's a confrontation. It's one or the other on that. What do we think?
I think the first one for me is the.
Well, I'm
agreed.
That is the more Bronson-y Death Wish kind of thing. I think so, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Guys, believe it or not, I while it is my mission to find the strangest IMDb reviews for these movies, hardly anyone reviewed this on IMDb, so I really don't have anything for that, unfortunately. There really
That's too bad. We'll have to write one.
I know, we'll have to write one.
We might have been the first 3 people to watch this movie.
There aren't many reviews, man. I don't think people were watching this, or at least carrying enough to write a review.
I can see why.
I'd love to see the metrics on it, like 12 streams.
Yeah, I don't think it's many. But no, so but I do hear, of course, it wouldn't be the Action Shuffle. We didn't check in with our favorite Amazon.com reviewer. That's right. It's time for another edition of The Winning Opinion. Yes, it's time to check in with Bruce Winning, who did not see Exorcist Vengeance. A little too much on the horror scale, I think, for him. But I do have here, talk about the end of Bronson's career. He went in and if anyone remembers the trilogy of TV movies he made called The Family of Cops, which, believe it or not, was about a family of cops.
Wait a second.
Yeah, they made 3 of these things.
Let me write this down.
CBS TV movies about
cops.
Yeah. He was
COPS or KOPS?
COPS.
Yeah, this is very important.
I would love it if their last name was Cop, KOP. The family of cops. Yes, it's me, Dan Cop. No, so anyway, but Bruce apparently watched Family of Cops 3, which I think does have a subtitle, Under Suspicion. And here is his review of it. I do agree with the title of this, which is The 90s Had Good Crime Dramas. 4:3 in stereo, just like when we watched TV at the end of the century. I like the story and the style of crime drama production. I like action and violence. I like the shooting. I I like the fast car scenes. I like the punching and kicking. I had to go 70 pages deep to find this one. I apparently saw one of the other movies in this series of movies, but I'm content with what I have seen. Thank you, IMDb TV, for one more excellent crime action movie. 5 out of 5 stars from old Bruce there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So he went deep to find this movie. Like
70
he did some
pages
real
of
digging.
recommendations.
70
deep.
pages. 70 pages. Wow.
Well, we did talk about how this kind of sets up a sequel. So what say we give it a shot here, bust out our handy-dandy action movie title generator, and come up with what the plot of that sequel would be. I think this time it's not Exorcist Vengeance, it's Exorcist : something else. Right?
Like that's actually it? Like Exorcist : something else? That's the title?
No. Let's I'm gonna fire this up, and once again I'm gonna switch this for this month from action movie titles to horror movie title generator. Here it comes. I'm gonna generate a title right here. Okay, so it's the second one is called Exorcist Girls with Black Hair. He faced one in this movie.
Wow.
So Rose is coming back.
Coming back. Rose breaks out of the psychiatric hospital. She starts. That's how the movie starts. Girls, plural. She forms a cult that he has to take on.
And she recruits cult members because she's opened up a beauty salon where she dyes everybody's hair black.
It's a beauty salon where she only dyes people's hair black. You can't get anything else done there.
Yes.
Now, I've heard of cults that shave people's heads, but this is new. This is interesting.
Girls with black hair. And yes, it's now a murder spree led by this to well, maybe this time they're trying to bring Satan to Earth or something like that, right? Like
I think so,
like sort of an Omen kind of thing or something, or like a Rosemary's Baby sort of thing, where like we're trying to the spawn of Satan kind of thing. Because I want to give him a race against the clock here, where it's like if he doesn't, defeat this cult by a certain point, then the Earth will
by a certain date, when the
Earth
ritual
can
happen.
The Earth will be overrun by darkness or whatever.
We learned her last name in this film. It's Darkshear.
Rose Darkshear.
Rose Darkshear.
I seem to remember the hair. Yeah, that sounds pretty exciting, man. So that's Exorcist Girls with Black Hair coming to a Redbox near you with Robert Bronzi. So we talked about this. Listman, next week on the show, it wouldn't be an Action Shelf theme month if we didn't get our old pal Dolph Lundgren involved.
I will break you.
I must break you. And this time, entering another subgenre that is actually very similar, talking about The Exorcist, that there's really only one good one. It's a shark movie. That's right.
Yeah.
It's Dolph Lundgren. Dolph Lundgren in Shark Lake.
Because those freshwater sharks are really, really scary.
Oh my god, that's so stupid. Okay, what is the tagline for the piece of shit?
Well, Listman, I will say this: there doesn't appear to be one. I think that might be a first on the show. I don't see anything indicating a tagline about this movie, nor looking at the poster.
Oh, wow.
Does it have one? It just seems to be.
This is an Action Shelf first.
It is, it is just a big photo of Dolph Lundgren's head and then some water with a fin coming out of it. Oh, okay, I'll give you this. This isn't really a tagline, but it does where the date for a movie is. It says, attacking October 2nd.
Jesus.
Yes.
Here it is. I found it. It's Shark Lake tax write-off. That's the tagline.
It's Shark Lake.
Warner Brothers owns the film. So
it's Shark Lake. It's Shark Lake. Dolph has to pay his mortgage this month. Yeah, do your shark movie. Yeah, so that's next week on the show. We have a couple potential guests. We haven't exactly. Well, so we will have a guest with us, but we don't have anybody locked in specifically. We're talking to.
Maybe you could get Bronzi. I hear he's not busy.
Well, yeah, I saw the shark movie. Yes.
When is Bronzi going to be in a shark movie?
Yeah. It feels like it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time when we see him fight a shark. I do agree. Yeah. I want him to play the shark. I want his face on a shark body. That's what I want to see. Jumpa. Here I come. Yeah, there we go. Jerry, thank you so much as always for
thanks
joining
for having me. It was a blast.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
An absolute pleasure to have you. But that is going to do it for this week's episode of The Action Shelf. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Michael Listman.
Till next week, get yourself some action.
The Action Shelf.
The Action Shelf is part of the Panel Up Podcast Network. Remember to follow us on social media. We're at Action Shelf Pod on Instagram and Twitter. And you can email us at actionshelfpod@gmail.com. Of course, you can also support the entire network by heading over to patreon.com/panelup to get cool, exclusive bonus content.
The Action Shelf.